All right, it's 7:15 on the dot. I'm Fox 19 now. First alert meteorologist Brad Maushart with a really boring forecast for a Monday and for the rest of this week. What is boring for me is great for you. Hopefully you had just a great weekend outside. It was phenomenal. The weather was great. A little warm, but not too sticky, right? That is going to be the story for much of the rest of this week. We're going to see some filtered sunshine by Wednesday and Thursday that'll help to cool temperatures down a few degrees. But the entirety of this 10-day forecast is above normal temperature-wise. So not a lot of relief there and no real big rain chances. The rain chances are still more than a week away. So distant rain chances. Next chance coming in Tuesday of next week. Because the tropical systems we're keeping an eye on, Umberto and Imelda, they're both going to be pulling off the East Coast. So they are not going to deliver us any rainfall, which is great news for the Carolinas because they didn't need any more flooding after what they experienced with Helene last year. Outside of some coastal flooding issues, no big rain chances for them either. So on my right here, or on my left, but your right, it is the drought monitor. This was put out last Thursday. Most of the tri-states still experiencing moderate drought-like conditions. We were hoping there towards the end of last week we'd get a little bit of help with this, but now with another long dry stretch ahead and above normal temperatures for the entirety of this 10-day forecast, and maybe, like I said, maybe the foreseeable future here, maybe the next 2 weeks or so, this is going to continue to get worse again. Maybe some improvements for some folks because we did pick up in a couple areas, a couple inches of rain, but this is not, the long-term trend for this is not good. So that's something to keep an eye on. Burn bans, we're down to just 2 counties right now that have outdoor burn bans. That's Bracken County in Kentucky, Franklin County in southeast Indiana. Don't be surprised if this list grows by the end of the week and into the weekend. Our weather number today, no surprise, we'll talk about rainfall, 2.26. That is our total we are going to end the month of September with. We should, for all of September, it depends on what average you're looking at, be it the all-time average or 30 years average, because they do skew a little bit. The all-time average, 2.8 inches, so we're well shy of that, and even worse when you compare it to the 30-year average, because that has been getting a little bit wetter for the month of September, 3.17. That puts us at the 60th driest all-time. No, it did not even crack the top 50, so 2.26, it's not terrible for September, but when you factor in the above normal temperatures, it does lead to those drought-like conditions. And then finally, let's talk about our sunset today. And that sunset time is just a few minutes from right now, 7:23. Enjoy those late sunsets while you can, because by the time we hit the end of this upcoming month, the end of October, Halloween, 6:38. Sunset times. By the time we hit the start of December, it's 5:15 when you factor in daylight saving time coming to an end. Here's a look at around the area, around the tri-state. A whole lot of nothing right now. Some fair weather clouds. We'll go ahead and pull up this Newport camera because that one is the one where the sunset looks the best out there. We got one boat going up the river, one sun going down, and barely a cloud in the sky looking there off to the west. It's a shame that the Bengals Monday night game was not over at Paycor Stadium this week because the weather is perfect. They are running into some issues out there if you're getting ready to watch that game in about an hour's time. Bengals out in Denver taking on the Broncos over at Empower Field at Mile High, and they have been running into some storms. We'll see what happens with that, but don't be surprised if some delays happen. That is a possibility out that way. A look over at Paycor Stadium would show you that could have been beautiful. But, that is what it is for this evening. Temperatures are still sitting in the 80s in a lot of spots. Our normal high temperature right now today should be 74 degrees, right? By tomorrow, it's 73, and by the end of the forecast, the end of the 10-day forecast, the normal high temperature should be 70 degrees, right? That takes us all the way to the 8th and 9th of October. So past the first full week of October, it should be to about 70 degrees. So we are well above that. We're almost, right now still, and that sun is going down. We're more than 10 degrees, or almost 10 degrees above where we should be for this time of the year downtown. 80 in Columbus, a little cooler off to the east there. You see Charleston coming in at 79 degrees. That is because they are seeing some of the cloud cover, that cloud debris from Tropical Storm Imelda. You can see that diving on in, but the rain not even to Charleston, and high pressure like a brick wall, just keeping that storm system out. I have it highlighted, the one on the left there, that is Imelda. The one on the right is Umberto, currently a Category 4 storm, and you don't want to really root for the hurricanes, right? But Umberto, because it is so intense, a Category 4 storm, it's effectively controlling what Imelda does, being that close in proximity. They're only about 500 miles apart, right? As Umberto, as predicted a long time ago, is going to head off to the east. It's going to kind of drag Imelda with it. So it's great news for the Carolinas. They're still going to see some really hefty rainfall totals down there. They're seeing it right now from Myrtle Beach up towards the Outer Banks, but certainly beats direct landfalling, Cat 1. They'll take it. High pressure controlling our weather here. Briefly, before we talk more about Imelda and Umberto, let me casually swing back over here to Denver because that is where they still have some storms rolling through. And you can see I've zoomed in on that. Now, the stadium itself sits right here to the northwest of where it says Denver, right? Where kind of that North Spear Boulevard just popped up, Edgewater area. So this is kind of where, this area here is where the stadium sits, I think. That's my best guess from what I looked at earlier, right? It's just to the northwest here, the downtown area, and south of this triangle situation they got going on. They are drying out now, but I can't rule out, shower, thunderstorm rolling off the front range there as we work our way through the next couple of hours. It's already a late game for us, being Monday Night Football. And if it does get pushed back a few more hours, if another storm rolls in, they'll probably still play it. It's going to be real late for us. Jeff, your weather is not going to show up. He's asking where the snow is. Not probably anytime soon. We're above normal for the foreseeable future. Canton, Ohio, JD asking about Canton, Ohio tomorrow morning. I'm doing great, always hungry, as is tradition. And my car hates me. So that is currently in the shop. Other than that, I'm doing all right. I'm doing okay. It was a great weekend. Hopefully you guys got to get out there and enjoy some of the nice weather. Canton tomorrow morning, honestly, I don't know. I haven't looked up that way because that, again, is outside of my purview, per se. We zoom back out there. We're going to talk more about the tropics in a second. If I had to guess, it's going to be just about as boring as Cincinnati. Maybe a little bit cooler. We're going to be in the mid-80s again tomorrow. But you'll probably be just a few degrees cooler. That's about it. Same as us. You can see it. High pressure controlling, really just dominating the eastern, third of the country, with the exception of the coastal areas because of what's left of these two storms down here. Imelda, Umberto. Umberto is just a very potent storm. Underlaid there, you can see a little yellow, and that's going to play into this graphic here in a second. But that is the tropical storm force winds associated with this system. So those are already approaching Bermuda. But you can see they're nowhere close to the U.S. coast, and they're not going to be because Umberto's going to take a dive off to the right, Imelda going to follow in its wake there, and both they're heading off to the east. So a hard right turn there out to open waters, and outside of Bermuda, no major issues for the U.S. for these storms. That yellow shaded area, again, those are just the tropical storm force winds. The red is the hurricane force, and you can see those barely exit the cone of uncertainty where that center of the storm likely to be. So Imelda, weaker storm, the winds for Umberto, the hurricane force winds will get close to Bermuda within 100 miles or so, but still likely not to have the worst of that impact. Now, since they are on the right front side of that storm, they are going to see some high surf out there, but unless you have plans to go to Bermuda, you can do the math there. It's not really going to impact our weather back here in Cincinnati. So no major issues. We're back in the upper 50s, low 60s tomorrow morning. Nice start. The Tuesday. I don't think you're going to need the jacket. If you put it on, it's kind of going to be a mistake because you're just going to end up holding it for much of the rest of the day. We're back to 86. You're not going to need it for long. And I know it looks like a big cool down there, but that's only a few degrees, just back to the 80s, maybe upper 70s by Thursday. Really mild stretch. Again, we should be in the low 70s this time of the year. We are above normal all the way through the weekend and really through the rest of this 10-day forecast. Our coolest temperatures we're going to see are going to be arriving Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, courtesy of these high, thin clouds, just enough to cool us off just a little bit, give us a little bit of free shade, but that's it. That's as exciting as our weather gets this week. High pressure slides off of the east by late week into the weekend, but, we have a ton of stuff going on. We have Iowa State playing UC over at Nippert Stadium on Saturday. We have the Bengals in town. They're playing Sunday at 4:25 against the Lions, who should be all, pretty good crowd. That's not too far away. A lot of those folks will be driving down, I assume, especially since it's a later game. Maybe it would have been a bigger crowd if it was an earlier game, but, give them time to drive back, but who knows. They also have the Mammoth Music Festival happening across the river over in Newport. That'll be Sunday, 12 to 8. That's always fun. It's free, free outdoor concerts, no weather issues for that. Our next chance of rain does not come in until that system here pushes our way by the time we hit early next week, and it's really going to hold off in most cases until Tuesday. Even Monday looks pretty good, as you can see here. Just the slimmest of chances a shower develops Monday. That is a week away. And up until then, humidity, it's not going anywhere either. It's still going to be comfy out there. At worst, a bit humid. For this time of the year, great. Another thing happening this weekend. The 33rd annual Oktoberfest celebration up at the Cincinnati Donna Schwaben Society. That's up in Colerain Township. It begins on Friday, runs through Sunday. And, yeah, I mean, doesn't get any better than that. This time of the year, I mean, it could be a little cooler for the later hosts, but not bad, especially, you know, since they got all the you know, the outdoor kind of patios, like the shaded patio situation happening out there, the outdoor shelter. So no issues there, no rain issues until we hit Tuesday of next week, and even that is just a spotty chance. It does cool us off, though, but still, running through Wednesday and Thursday next week, our normal high temperature at that point of the year is 70 degrees. We'll talk more about October stuff coming up here, you know, in a couple days. I'll have a recap tomorrow of September, and I'll have an outlook of what we can expect for October tomorrow as well. Coming up, I already have the graphics made. I'm just going to wait off a day so I have something to talk about. But, you know, by that time of the year, we should be at about 70 degrees, so 10 days above normal temperatures. And I told you this is probably not going to change anytime soon for us. The only folks in the country seeing below normal temperatures are going to be off to the west there. For much of the Ohio Valley, Mississippi Valley, as we work our way through the 7th to the 13th, it is going to be very, very warm. Precipitation-wise, there are some indications that by the time we head past the first full week of October that things could start to get a little bit, you know, more busy, but I mean, for us, it's near normal, which is not a lot for the first half of October. Off the west, it's going to be a little wet, but not for us. For us, it's near normal at best. Let's take a look at your 7-day. I don't have any more questions rolling in, which is fine. It's a Monday, and, you know, I really do want you to get out there and enjoy some weather. You know, enjoy the sunshine outside. I mean, the sun is down now, but what's left of that dusk. There is a chance again, and I would try to, if you're going to see it, that comet. It's going to be off to the west. Let me see. I'm going to pull this up and just make sure it's still where I need you, where it needs to be. It should still be close to Mars. Let me just double check. Comet R2 Swan. Yeah, at about 8 o'clock, 8:30, somewhere between that time frame. It's still going to be near Mars, looking almost due west. You know, maybe west-southwest. So you'll see the moon. It's going to be well to the right and down, kind of along the tree line is where you're going to be looking for that. And you're probably going to need binoculars. It's going to be pretty faint, and it's going to be a little bit hard to see even the tail out there. I think we'll see better opportunities maybe by the time we hit, let's say, like mid-October once that moon starts to go away again. But right now you have the waxing moon. It's about a half full, and you know, accompany that with a very low angle to see this thing. It's not going to be great, but you know, something to keep an eye on out there. If you do spot Mars, which is going to be right along the tree line, it's just up and left from that. Is the area you're generally going to want to look. We have plenty of opportunities, you know, the next 10 days to go out there and see it, because we don't have much of the way of cloud cover until Wednesday, Thursday, and no real rain chances here until we hit the end of this forecast. Let me go ahead and pull this up full for you. And you'll see, again, above normal temperatures for 10 days, very little rain opportunity the next 10 days. Great for the outdoor plans. Terrible if you need some rainfall or a little free car wash outside. 80 degrees on Tuesday. That is our next best chance for some showers or thunderstorms out there, and that's our only real good chance the next 10 days. So, as always, don't forget, I always appreciate it if you follow me on social media. Helps me get out, you know, when there is stuff happening, and, you know, or when there's not, some terrible jokes. Follow me. Friends call me Bad News Brad. It's Meteorologist Brad Maushart on Facebook, at BRAAA 3A's AAAD Weather on the Twitter or the X, and then call me Brad on Instagram. That one's usually more casual. And before I forget, I would be you know, remiss to tell you it is National Coffee Day. So happy National Coffee Day. That is one of my favorite things. It's what keeps me going here all the way through almost midnight, which is when I have to stay at work. So probably not many of you are going to be, if you're going to stay up to watch the Bengals game, you can grab yourself a cup of this. Enjoy. Jeff, we'll see you for in late October maybe for some snow. Who knows? Maybe we'll get some by the end of late October. Sometimes it happens. I remember trick-or-treating and it was snowy outside one time. November, probably better chances for you, Jeff. Unfortunately, that is more than a month away and more than a week away for us. Enjoy the rest of your evening. I'm going to leave you with what is left of the sunset over in Newport. Enjoy your week. Hoo-day to those who celebrate. Maybe we can turn it around out there tonight. That would be fantastic. That is not the current look at Newport, I promise you. This looks better. We'll pop that up for you. Enjoy the rest of your evening. And by the way, go Reds. They play tomorrow. And, just excited that we got to the playoffs, right? We'll just be excited for that. Enjoy the rest of your night. We'll see. Maybe the Reds will shock the world, right? You can't kill us. That's what the Reds say, the Cucarachas, the Cucarojas. Go Reds, go Bengals. Hoo day. We'll see you tomorrow night.